And as you just heard, some call it a historic victory, others call it irrational. No matter how you look at this issue, it's what many people are talking about tonight. So we continue our discussion with Tippi McCullough, president of the Arkansas Stonewall Democrats and president of Family Council, Jerry Cox. Thank you both for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. You know what? Let's get right to this. And you know, Mr. Cox, I was looking at a news statement that you sent out earlier today saying that this ruling doesn't bring a consensus among Americans, let alone Arkansans. And I'm fully aware the majority of voters in Arkansas said no to same-sex marriage. So Tippi, I'm going to start with you. How do you respond to that, and does that give you any level of discomfort?
No, it doesn't at all, because yes, there was a vote, and yes, it went the other way back then. Attitudes have changed, I think, some since then. Also, I feel like this is a fundamental right as an American citizen that I have, along with other LGBT citizens, and I don't believe that you vote on fundamental rights.
Okay, Jerry, what do you say to that?
Well, we live in a democracy where the people rule. I was a school teacher. I taught my students the people rule. Apparently not, because 5 unelected judges just redefined marriage for every person in America. And I think people ought to be outraged about that. The governor is outraged about it. A lot of other people are as well, and rightfully so.
Well, let me ask you this question. Obviously, Christians know the Bible, and we know what it says in terms of marriage, but there are some that say, why should Christians or any other religion impose their beliefs on me, and specifically the LGBT community?
It's not the Christians that are imposing their view on other people. Marriage has been the union of a man and a woman for thousands of years. Ever since this country was established, it's been that way. It's the other way around. It's the other side that's imposing their new definition of marriage on those of us who say, you know what, we ought to just leave it the way it's always been.
Well, you know, and I know we can go back and forth with this, but Tippi, you probably have a completely different view on that, considering the fact that you used to work for a school that once you became married, fired you for being married.
Yes, that's true, and I also want to go back to this. I agree with Mr. Cox. This is a democracy, and our government is run in a way to where we do have freedoms. We have religious freedoms. We also have, when our Supreme Court ruled in the Hobby Lobby decision, no one said these were 5 unelected judges that were activist judges or anything. That was okay. So now that a ruling's gone against that, now all of a sudden they're these horrible judges and horrible people. But no, yes, personally, I've had to face what it's like to be in love for 15 years, to get married legally, and then to have come back and to get fired.
The Religious Freedom Restoration Act, that's going to come into play here, I am sure. And I can't help but wonder what happens when, you know, an LGBT couple wants to get married and someone says, I'm not going to be a part of this because of my religious beliefs. And you can do that in this state.
You bring up an excellent point, because that's where this debate is headed now. Because we have people that say we have religious freedom, and others that say, no, you have to perform this ceremony, or you have to allow this. And so what you're going to see is these two are going to collide, and you're going to see a wave of litigation and probably another wave of legislation out here at the Capitol to try to sort this out. So when I said today it creates more questions than answers, it really does.
This is a happy day for you, though, right?
Yes, it's a very happy day, and I disagree with that. I do not think there are going to be a ton of things like that happen. I believe the ruling was very clear, and I believe as we move forward that we will not have these types of issues.
Well, of course, in the days, weeks, months, years to come, we will see how this all plays out. Thank you both for being here with us tonight. Kevin, back to you.
All right, Donna.